if you're Prince Harry, you're truly used to getting your own way on a daily basis. Many people who've worked inside the Montecito mansion tell me that Harry is in fact the more amiable of the two. He's the one that you can have a chat with. He will talk about all sorts of stuff and very much says things off the record. And more importantly, not just And more importantly, not just off the record, but they cite him as being a very lonely person, right? They know that he's looking for sort of companionship, wants to talk to someone, and you can imagine that this all really falls apart from the fact that he now cannot and does not talk to his elder brother, of course, his Royal Highness, the Prince of Wales, Prince William. And the problem that, Harry's now got is he's doing so many things in order just to antagonise William at this very much high level. But for him, he believes that he's untouchable. When he popped up on the Stephen Colbert show recently, he was very, very disparaging, whether any way you want to look at it, about the President of the United States. And the thing that I mentioned in a previous video before is, I found this incredible. You are a guest in a wonderful country that has been very good to you, right? Allowing you to earn a living in that country. And yet you deride the president, whether it's President Biden or Barack Obama, Trump, it doesn't matter. You should have manners and respect. But according to a very well-placed source, Prince Harry basically feels he can do whatever he wants now on the world stage. And it's all down to this. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good to see you, chums. Thank you so much for joining me today, and welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Nice to have your company. Thank you, by the way, for your lovely comments regarding the story of Princess Diana, and of course those brilliant Hollywood greats like Donald O'Connor, Sammy Davis Jr., Liza Minnelli. It's lovely to look back on those things. I don't know about you, but when I see things like that and it says 1992 and you think, I was there for that, it doesn't seem that long ago, you know what I mean? Not because they're big events and they're, marvellous events and all that, but you come away thinking, wow, right, 1992, and then you had it up and you think, wow, how did we get to this point, that quickly, you know what I mean? And of course, it's just one of those things, you never forget them, but if you have a chance and you want to have something a little bit different, other than, of course, the stories here, do not forget, this is a channel with many different story options out there. If you fancy something just to cheer yourself up, or indeed prick that nostalgia button, you know what I'm saying, chums? It's a little bit like this particular story. As you know, Prince Harry, right, not speaking to the brother, not speaking to the family, moans about everything, goes on BBC TV, does a big interview, tells the world, oh, it's terrible, people are treating me badly, etc., etc. You get the picture. People are bored of Harry because, of course, a professional whinger never wins anybody over. But now he started to get political, he started to really prod against his own family. And many people suggest this is his wife, Markle. This is because Markle really has not much to do, and consequently now feels that the only way to berate people like Catherine, the Princess of Wales, and Prince William, is to goad them, particularly on things where they've got big events themselves, the sort of thing. And the problem that you've got with Harry is he's very much led, right, by other people. You can see that, and people say, oh, don't be ridiculous. Remember the Nazi uniform, which you tried to blame on other people. Remember the fact that he stripped off naked in that Las Vegas room. This is a guy who clearly isn't very bright, because who does that thinking that nobody in his, big position would have a camera? You get the picture. It's like where Markle was caught out recently drinking at that particular thing with Emma. She was furious about that. But then again, always imagine if you are in a public space and allegedly a public figure, somebody's going to try and catch you out. But you see, Harry really doesn't care about exactly what he does and what he says against his elder brother, Prince William. He was seething with jealousy when President Trump got up at his second official state visit in Windsor earlier this year to heap praise on Prince William in front of the world. Harry was incandescent with rage. You see, as I told you at the time, he believed His Majesty the King, King Charles, should have just said, oh, I do have two sons, President Trump. He didn't, because he knows that President Trump is, well, in a very powerful position, number one, and also, number two, doesn't want to be dragged into making it about those two. Hence the reason Harry believes this about Trump. You saw him come up on the Stephen Colbert show. You saw him again attack him on another TV show with minor things like, oh, I hear you elected a king. Very nasty, very cruel, and of course, very damaging to the world. And the reason why it's damaging to the world is that obviously we have a great relationship with the White House, the President of the United States, and President Trump. Harry, though, 100% believes that, in fact, President Trump will do nothing to him for this single reason. Remember when he said to Stephen Colbert that, in the chat, and he said, oh, I hear you just love the royal family. And Stephen Colbert says, oh, really? And then Harry, really? No, and the audience applauded. Remember that? Now, Harry believes that it's his cachet, the connection back to the royal family, the fact that his mother was the late beautiful Diana, Princess of Wales, that President Trump will do nothing to him and Meghan Markle. And according to that source behind the scenes that used to work there, the reason being is that apparently Harry truly believes that President Trump would never want to alienate the relationship that he's now built up with, of course, His Majesty the King and his elder brother, Prince William, the Prince of Wales. Not only that, he likes the significance of having that relationship. And according to a well-placed source, somebody told Harry that Trump absolutely adores and keeps a correspondence in a file that he received from the late Queen Elizabeth. So Harry believes that he can say and do anything he wants regarding the president, and the president will do nothing back in return. He may snipe and say things like, Harry's going to need a lot of help, or I hear she's terrible in relationship to his wife. But other than that, Harry thinks it's a free-for-all and he can simply do what he wants. Neil Sean, Kensington, London.